What's up, Keith-Kalfas? Just got done with a 14-hour luxurious day landscaping. It's so different when you have your own business. A 14-hour day is like, whatever. It's different than when you work for someone else. But I want to talk to you, and I feel called to talk about my early journey and some of the dire bullshit and suffering that I went through and that I came out of, and I believe it's important. I know some of you guys are probably going through what is called the dark night of the soul, where no matter what you do or how hard you try, nothing works. Crazy shit keeps happening to you that is completely out of your control, and it's like you can't win for losing, to the point where you feel and ask yourself the question, which is, am I cursed? Have you ever think about stuff like that? You ever think that maybe possibly the karma of your life or something is you're meant to be cursed, and you're never gonna have what other people have, and you might as well give up and throw in the towel because it was not meant for you. In my early journey, I'm 32 now. Back when I was 24, I had lost my driver's license again. I spent several years riding a bike 10 miles to work, taking buses everywhere, riding my bike 10 miles home, exhausted, getting home from work at 10 p.m. Just hated myself. I was so broke, I would literally just go walk around inside of Walgreens and look at magazines when I was a 24-year-old grown-ass man, flat broke, in debt, no license, no job, no car, no money, cutting grass, just bouncing around from lawn care company to lawn care company, and hated life so much. Didn't have the balls to commit suicide. Never wanted to do that. But I remember I would just walk around a park at night and look up at the stars and say, why does life suck so bad? What would it be like to have a new car one day? Are those people rich? Dude, it's the feeling of being trapped is the worst feeling in the world. Trapped in a dead-end job, and when you get home from work, you're so exhausted, you don't even have the energy to even think higher thoughts. And when you're stuck in a dead-end job, you don't even have the energy to get out, to even think, because all you could do is drag your ass to bed after you do everything else you have to do and stress about money, to peel yourself out of bed to go to the job that you hate. I mean, life could feel like life sucks. Life sucks, it's a curse, and then you attract people who believe the same thing, and it's not all peaches, man. I spent several years of my life, I got in a car accident with no car insurance. After I had finally gotten my license back after 2.5 years of riding bikes and taking buses, grown man, totally depressed. I remember reading spiritual books and listening to audiobooks on the bus. Just, man, I hated my life. I got my license back. After 6 months, I got in a car accident. My insurance expired, and I was late on my payments. Got in a car accident, got sued for $17,000, and luckily I didn't severely injure anybody. And they took my driver's license again, and now I owed 17 grand on top of the 10 grand I already owed, and I was 24. I lost my place and ended up sleeping in someone's basement. So 25 years old. I got into this eBay Amazon business, selling anything I could get my hands on. I started selling all these perfumes and colognes and all this stuff, and started an online business out of someone's basement I was living in. And a couple months into that, I'm making money. Then I realized that I was selling fake stuff that was knockoff from China, being lied to, saying it was good stuff from New York. I didn't know. And now my Amazon account got shut down. Now I'm a fraud selling fake shit. And here's the catcher. Now I'm inside of a flea market selling this shit with bags under my eyes, and I had gotten a loan from a friend, and I didn't know that the loan was from loan sharks who wanted 40% interest over 30 days on $3,000. Now I have these loan sharks looking for me. Now I owe all this money, no license, no job, no car, no money. I'm a fraud. and I didn't even know I was doing it. I had no clue. I was like, oh my God, I'm selling fake stuff. I just didn't know. And bawling my eyes out in a basement, and got people looking for me wanting $4,500 or something. That's a lot of money when you're flat broke and you can't even keep a cell phone bill on. I went out and bought a gun. I got a pistol permit because I was afraid that, you know, they could come to my house. And finally the fear got so bad that I was like, you know what? I don't want to get too deep into this, but basically when shit hits the fan so deep in your life, so hard, so many times, and people you love keep dying, people are dying of drug and alcohol overdoses, and you can't win for losing, you begin to think that your life is a curse. So I guess there's a point where you just throw your hands up and you say, you know what? You can't kill my spirit. You could take everything from me. You could beat my ass and break every bone in my body. You can take me and throw me in jail. You can leave me. The people you love, maybe you got a woman in your life who thinks you're a piece of shit. She wants to leave you. Bye. Let her leave and walk alone. And it's the inner belief that one day things will turn around. One day I'll have my own business. I don't know when that day is, but one day. And the craziest thing is, there's spiritual dips that you go through. Like, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, everything is going to just be shit in your life for like the next 3 years, because you need to learn these horrifying lessons that when you do finally come out, faith is very powerful. You finally come out of the dark night of the soul, it's called, when you like lock yourself in a basement and maybe you, I don't know what path you go down. Hopefully it's not one that's gonna, you know, endanger you or anybody else or hurt your health or anything. But basically what I'm saying is that the quicker you hit rock bottom and the quicker you get to the point where you kind of like open up your arms and you just surrender to all that is, and you stop resisting whatever you're resisting in your life, or whatever egoic construct of a life that you've built, all the ideas get just ripped apart. And what happened for me is I had a nervous breakdown. I mean, I used to wear stupid jewelry and watches and had diamond earrings in my ears and a little labret piercing, and I was hiding behind this facade of an idea of who I wanted to be because I was really afraid and unhappy with who I really was. And who I really was a guy who needed to get his shit together. Who I really was a guy who was afraid to grow up. I didn't want to grow up and be a man because I looked at other men and I saw the bags under their eyes and I saw the lives that they live. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be that. I don't want to be that guy. That guy's life sucks. His life sucks, man. I want to be, I don't know what I wanted to be, but I was really gung-ho and being a loser, man. I was a fucking loser. And I hated myself, and I surrounded myself with people. We had these big dreams, and it's like they weren't big dreams, because it's my buddy Dave. When I had lost everything, I lived in a condo, a roommate with him. Dave is smart. I talk about Dave a lot, man. I gotta get Dave on the channel. Very smart guy. Dave was actually a drug addict and alcoholic, fully recovered, and would go to AA meetings just to help other people because he had so much guidance and faith. He's a coach, a phenomenal human being. He put his arm up against the wall in the hallway and blocked me. I was all depressed and shit. Middle of the winter. He says, I want to talk to you, Falkus. I'm like, what, man? He's like, he looked me dead in the eyes. He said, Falkus. He called me Falkus. You got to quit bucking the system. I'm like, what do you mean quit bucking the system? He's like, you know what I mean. You gotta quit bucking the system because you're never, ever, ever, ever gonna win. You cannot change the world. You can't change the way things are. You cannot buck the system. You're rebelling and you're stuck inside of your own head, and you're like an alcoholic. You're living in a facade. You're living in your own story of a life that you tell yourself is real. He took me to an AA meeting And I mean, I'm very fortunate that some people think I have addiction problems. I've heard that a lot. Are you a recovering addict? No, I'm not addicted to anything. Maybe I come across as that. I don't know. I've been around a lot of addicts my whole life, and that's why I'm afraid to be like that. But he took me to an AA meeting, and I saw all these people, alcoholics, and I went to a drug anonymous meeting as well. And it blew my mind to see all these people who are really suffering with severe addictions. And I don't look at people that are drug addicts or alcoholics as they're messed up. I don't judge people like that at all, because it's sick. They're sick, and they're suffering, and they're using the alcohol or the drugs as a vice to help them. And if you're addicted to anything, and I believe it really numbs the suffering and the pain of the shit show of some of the things in life that are just totally unfair, and it becomes an addiction. It numbs the pain and the suffering, and without it, the suffering is literally unbearable. It is unbearable to face life. And sometimes when you're confused, you don't know your purpose, you don't know exactly what you want or how you'll even get there, and life has rained so much crap on you that you just, I totally get it. I totally understand. And you're not alone. So in this meeting, it hit me like a ton of bricks that I was living a lie. I was bucking the system. I was living in a facade in my head, and I thought that I could somehow become some star or be rich. I don't know what it was. What is it for you? What is it for you? So you break down. You have the nervous breakdown. You bawl your eyes out. You realize that you got to cut certain people out of your life, even if you have to walk a journey alone, or maybe get out of a relationship that's toxic. Maybe just get toxins or toxic people out of your life altogether. And that hurts, because now I believe the biggest fear is to be alone, completely alone, and nobody cares. And sometimes in giving up everything and giving up the thing you love most, that's the hardest. Think of the thing that you love most, or the idea that you're attached to, and you will not give that up for nothing. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like a guitar. Maybe it's a guitar. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a badass race car you got in the garage, or a crotch rocket, a motorcycle. Maybe it's for me it was studio equipment. It was the music game. I was obsessed with music, man. It was my drug. But I said I will never give this thing up. I will die before I give it up. Give up the thing you love most that you feel like you will die, or give up the person you love most that you feel like you will die without. And I'm not giving any relationship advice or anything. I do believe in relationships, until you've given 100% and really face the facts.